I knew a guy at the flea market named Gary, and from my 11-year-old perspective, he had every game known to mankind. Going to his setup was like being Hunter Biden in a gunshot. Tempting. He had every game I wanted, but games that my parents would never get me in 23 different dimensions. So I decided at that moment it was time to put things into my own hands. If you watched my previous flea market video, you guys know that my dad also was a vendor at the flea market, and he made decent money. Each Saturday he would put cash in the bucket and put the bucket in the back of the van. My dad had a routine. He didn't count his money until 2 o'clock, 2:15ish every Saturday before we go and pick up. So he never knew how much money he really made that day. And that's where I saw the opportunity. I saw the vision. I was like, oh shit, I'm about to be legit out here. If I can move smart, if I can exploit what I'm seeing, I have the potential to become a video game millionaire. Bro, as soon as I got my plans in place, I was moving faster than Shakira Richardson. I pop out in front of this bucket, and bro, I'm just getting all this instant gratification from being in front of all this money. I'm like, damn. So this is how strippers feel on a Friday night. I had one eye on my pops and the other eye on the bread. And just like that, Grand Theft Auto, I was what my people would call Vola. And this started to turn into a trend, bro. It got out of control. At first, it started small, $5 a week. Give me a little cheap Nintendo 64 PlayStation 1 game. Then it was $10. Then it was $30. And eventually it got to the point where I was buying the big boy games. I was getting multiple used games that were worth $59.99 every 2 weeks. And no, my dad didn't know what was going on. He didn't know I was doing all this. He didn't know I was taking the money. I was moving too smart. You see, if the bucket wasn't really full of money like that, I ain't take it. I ain't fall for the trap. I knew better. But it was full. You best believe I thought I would draw out the ATM same day. My parents were old school and they didn't know much about video games or how they work, so they never questioned all the games I had. For all they knew, they probably thought I was playing the same game they got me 3 years prior. And all the new games that I had was probably no more than $5. They had no idea I was building my own personal GameStop. But deep down, I always feared that if my dad was ever to find out what was going on, he would have struck me in the back of the head with a vacuum cleaner. That's why I was always perfect in what I did. And after a while, I was running a highly operated criminal organization that even my brothers would even associate themselves with from time to time. I was like BMF, but just like BMF, the cracks were beginning to show. In December of 2012, an unknown member of the organization got caught up. Meet my little cousin that I call Juliana. She would see me take the money and like Drake try to replicate my whole flow, but she was sloppy. She was not like me. She left too much evidence. I never tired the method because she was never supposed to know the method. She was never supposed to be a part of this whole thing. She did this behind my back. And in that month, she got caught up with $10 worth of candy and toys. She tried to snitch on me immediately, bro. I was blown. I was like, damn, you gonna do me like that? Shit, first you try to blow my cover and now you trying to get me in trouble? Man, look here. My dad gets to instigating me. He's like, son, is what Juliana's saying true? Did you take money out my bucket? I replied with the most obvious answer. She a liar! And my dad believed me. Juliana ended up getting punished that night. It wasn't pretty for anybody. My auntie was not playing around with her. I thought I was all good, bro. I thought I was in the clear. But little did I know a whole sting operation was forming behind my back. Fast forward to the year 2013, I was in middle school just flashing my games to the homies. And my boy Albert wanted to borrow my controller. I ain't care because I had mad controllers back at the crib, but I wanted composition. You see, I knew Albert didn't like the school lunch, which is why his mom always gave him $7 every other day to go buy a Dr. Flynn combo, and I wanted some of that, so I knew that was going to be my bargaining chip. I knew Albert didn't like the school lunch. Bro almost turned to the hawk at the sight of it. So we came to an agreement, we came to a trade. I was able to rent my controller out in exchange for a Dr. Flynn combo. Looking back, it was stupid. But if you had a Dr. Flynn combo back at that time, you was known as that nigga. Plus the combo was fire. Top 5 wings I ever had in my life. I ain't even gonna cap with you. Now at this point, after watching my little cousin get caught up, the block was hot. Plus I had every game I wanted, so there was never a need to go back to the well for some time. But the thing that really slowed me down, the thing that I got caught up was my greediness. I got real greedy. One day one of my controllers started working. It didn't want to turn on. So I wanted to get my controller back from Albert. I ain't really need it back. I had 3 more frustrated controllers back at home, but I like looking at 4. I don't know if y'all know what I mean when I say you just like looking at the game, you know, you just like looking at a certain thing, you know, y'all know what I mean, but I just like looking at 4 controllers. So I rolled up on Albert next day at school and I basically was like, bring my controller, nigga. And I ain't gonna lie, I peeped dude was mad hesitant, but I ain't really think too much of it. 2 days later, he brings my controller back. And this shit is broken, bro. Analog leaning to the left. The analog stick is drunk. The A button was stuck. I think I had Dorito seasoning inside of it. And the RT button was just straight up missing, bro. I ain't even know where that piece was. I'm like, hey, Albert, what you do to my controller? He's like, oh, it fell. Where, into a blender? I ain't even gonna count. I ain't even think that was my controller for real. To this day, I still think the nigga robbed me. He probably gave me his life support ass controller instead of mine. But know what? Back then, I didn't even care. I was just buying another one. I remember I had an unlimited supply of money. I thought everything had cooled down around the bucket. So Saturday comes around. It's a normal day, 9 a.m. I do my usual routine. I bought the controller and I went back to the van. 2 o'clock comes around. I'm chilling in the front of the van with my brothers. I don't know, I'm probably cracking jokes. And I hear, hey, Mr. Villa, kote la jomwe. Nah, get $26 set pedi la. Bro, whole time, bro, my pops counted the money earlier that day and kept an idea of how much he should have by the end of it, and found out that he was short. So where my money? We don't know that. So you don't know where my money at, Frank? Bring me that black bag earlier. But why, Dad? It's just cookies from the $2 you gave me this morning. Bring it here. But Dad, I ate all the cookies. Bro, this man starts walking towards the front of the van. And then he sees my controller. And it didn't even help that the controller still had the price tag on it. So I couldn't even say if it was part of the stuff we were selling. I couldn't even make a no lie. I was caught up, bro. I was cut. I was guilty. I confessed, bro. I confessed immediately and prepared for the worst. But my dad ended up not whooping me. He just looked me in my face and he was like, son, I'm disappointed in you. You know better. And that hurt me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That I was like, I don't know. It hurt me more than any whooping could. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten a whooping at that time anyways, because I was above the age, and you know, it started hurting. He started whooping me around that age anyways. But still, y'all know what I mean. And I just stopped doing it, bro. I really stopped taking money from the bucket. And that was the end of that. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I still, you know, kind of still end up finessing, if you know what I mean, in other situations and made my bread. But you know, those are stories for different times. But yeah, man, that's the time I got caught up, bro, and it didn't feel good. Moral of the story, bro, do the right thing.